Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're all well. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. How are you today? Kansubire muri bulungi. I am going to specifically speak in English. I will have this show in English as always. Welcome. The purpose of me speaking in English is because I want that everybody understands. I know we all speak different languages or different dialects, so it's quite difficult sometimes other people understanding Luganda in which I can converse in properly. But today, our show, as always, is on the UNN Live TV. We can be found on UNN Radio, UNN Twitter, UNN or Get UNN on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. And I'm hoping that you, wherever you are, wherever you're getting this message from, that you'll be able to sort of listen in, make your contribution. It can be by email, emailing hello@getunn.com. You can email me at Sophia Sophia@getunn.com. But I first of all want to welcome you all. Welcome to the Revolutionary Spa. It is Sophia Sebi, your host. And what do I mean by revolutionary spa? I mean self-purposeful action. We all need to look inside ourselves, inside of ourselves, not of outside, to be able to bring about the change that we want to see. And that change might be change about your life currently, your circumstances of life. That change can be about your country, Uganda. The change can be about your family circumstances. The change can be about your work environment. The change can be about your community that you live in. The change can be about your family. The change can be about the wider network, the Ugandan environment. We are all here on this planet, or UNN TV, the platform, or we've migrated to new environments, lands for growth, for evolution. And therefore, it is important to acknowledge those we grow with. So I acknowledge all of you. I acknowledge all of you as we go through our presentation today. Welcome once again. You're on the Revolutionary Spa, which is self-purposeful action. I thank you for all your contributions, and I'm hoping that my contribution adds value to your life or our lives as a collective, as a community, as a people. We are all here, as I was saying, for growth, for evolution, and therefore it is important that we acknowledge those we grow with. Every one of us is valuable. Don't forget that. Every one of you, every one of us is important, is valuable. So as all our shows, our UNN TV shows, or the shows of all those independent people come along to add value to your knowledge, to add value to you, also be ready to add value, to appreciate. We're reminded every day, and my goodness, we were so reminded by our show yesterday with Brother Malik. We were reminded by our show the previous day by the senior Regis, I beg your pardon, Chintu. We are so reminded of the importance of each and every one of us, our value. How do we add value to ourselves, the person in you, your inside, your inner person? How do you add value to the neighbor around you? How do you add value to your Uganda? So I would like to extend my gratitude first and foremost to the Most High God for enabling us to come together in the first place. Special thanks to all of you, all of those that came before us, the elders present and past. My colleagues, of course, by no means, my colleagues at UNN TV, that's Prince Chimbugwe, Mrs. Wamala, Mr. Gombia, Prince Page, Desire, Gerald, Hanifa, the producers, and all behind the scenes. I'm not going to mention all the names. And those who want to be in Kamoli, I really do appreciate you, and I am grateful. All UNNians for trusting and believing in UNN TV's vision. Every single day you're here, you're showing up, listening and sharing your knowledge, sharing the information that you learn from different sources. I appreciate you. All those who continue to contribute to the Ugandan revolution, be it emotionally, practically, financially, and otherwise, all supporters of fundamental change and revolutionary change. I appreciate you. Change we need for our country. I appreciate you, and I am hoping that you will enjoy this show. You will learn a thing or two, and I will learn from your comments. I cannot be active and seeing the comments all the time, but I know you're there. I know you're commenting. I know you're contributing something, and I'm hoping that we will learn something around this topic, particularly. Before I go into the topic, what are you grateful for? We're about prayer and gratitude. What are we grateful for? We're grateful for being alive. We're grateful for having this platform to add on to our knowledge, to seek, as the Bible says, seek and you will find, ask and it shall be given to you or unto you. So we appreciate this platform. We appreciate each and every one of us, of each other. I appreciate every single one of you that comments, that shares the message, the video, wherever you watch. So share it so that someone else who does not know that we exist can really benefit from this knowledge, from the information that we share. I am not going to mention names, like I said, but please just know that we are doing something. We are amazing. We are able, no matter what anybody will say to you. I'm all about self-purposeful action. I'm all about our mindset. I'm all about self-development, self-improvement, because without having the self-esteem, the self-confidence, the self-purpose, we are not going to bring about the change that we desire. So thank you, God. Thank you, everyone. Just take a moment. What are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? And what did you learn the past week? What do you intend to learn the next day, the next week? Have you reflected on the wins of the week? Have you reflected on your challenges of the week? What are you learning from your challenges of the week? Because remember, every challenge is an opportunity. It is easy to be of the belief that change will come without any effort, that we can carry on as normal because whatever the injustice or pain others endure does not apply to our own situation or household or family or social or work circles or our geographical area. So we really need to think about how do we impact? How do we bring about an impact to the world around you, to your own life? So today's topic, just a reminder, okay, we go through welcomes, we go through our prayer and gratitude, our food for thought. I just want you to have a little bit of food for thought. And what does this say? I say this: if we don't look after our own, someone or something else will. If we don't look after our own, someone or something else will. Like a wise lady says, Barbara Jordan said, a nation is formed by the willingness of each of us to share in the responsibility for upholding the common good. What is our common good? It's about the vision of improving our life circumstances, our country's circumstances. The common good is about accelerating, improving the Ugandan situation. It is about approaching things, every single thing of our life, with a fearless mindset to build a resilient and courageous foundation. So we go into today's topic. Today's topic is about a fearless mindset, build a resilient and courageous foundation. We need to have a fearless mindset to build a resilient and courageous foundation. We cannot have a fearful mindset, because if we do, we are building a crumbling foundation. So the time is now. The time is now. It is not yesterday. We're not about lamenting. It's about now. So when we talk about fear, what is fear? When we go into talking about the topic today, a fearless mindset, what is it about? We need to, excuse me, we need to first of all understand what fear is. What is fear? What is fear? Fear is about, it can be about an imagined fear or real. So imagined fear can be about the fear of, maybe fear of a boogeyman, fear of a boogeyman. But then real fear can be something like, oh, a car, you're going to run into an accident. You can see a car coming and it's about to knock you out on the road. You are fearful to cross the road because you can clearly see a car coming and it's about to hit you or knock you off the road. But then imagined fear, what is it about? Imagined fear, it's about us fearing that there is a boogeyman, there is this whole situation of a government which is about to take us out. We are fearful that because someone parades the ammunition, the the tanks, we are fearful that it's going to wipe us all out off the face of the Ugandan public or community or the country or our homes. We sort of have an imagined fear. We live in an imagined environment of fear, and that paralyzes us. So what is the definition of fear? Fear can be imagined as well as it can be real. I've explained what imagined imagined. An example of what that can be. I've explained what real fear can be. Imagined is that you feel like, oh, if I stayed, something will happen. We need to come away from the thinking of, if I did this, something, this will happen. Of course, fear can be a good thing as well. But what is fear? Fear is one of the 7 universal emotions. What is fear? It can be imagined or real. And Paul Ekman defines fear as, he defines it as, fear is one of the 7 universal emotions experienced by everyone around the world. Fear arises with the threat of harm. It can be either physical, emotional, or psychological. It can be real or imagined. Just like I said, we in the society, in the Ugandan society, we have a lot of fear, which is a lot to do with our psychological thinking, our mindset, our subconscious mind, what we have built up over the years because of war, because of the threats maybe by the police forces, because of the threats by the junta. We have this imagined psychological fear that paralyzes us from taking action. The causes, like I was saying, the causes of fear, it can be unpleasant, an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, of pain. We have this pain that we will lose somebody, we will lose the loved one. If we took this action, we will lose somebody. If we took this action, we will be we will not live to see another day. We're always fearful all the time, and it paralyzes us from taking action. We be afraid of someone or something. We're always afraid of someone or something. We're afraid of the junta. We're afraid of the unseen powers that be, as likely to be dangerous, painful, or harmful. We are always fearful all the time. And that paralyzes us from taking action. It paralyzes us to make informed decisions based on reason and intelligence. So think about your own person, your own life. Where is it in your life that you are fearful of something that might happen, but it never happens? It was all imagined. It was all imagined. So when we sort of have this, what happens to our bodies and what happens to our mind as we move on through our presentation today? What happens to our mind? The response we have straight away, we want to fight without using reason. Sometimes we want to fight. We want to come up and be arrogant and, lock heads and get our gloves, boxing gloves ready. We want to fight. Physically, we want to fight. Our body goes through these emotions, these 3 emotions that our bodies go through. It is fight. We want to fight. What else happens what is our response to fear? What else happens? As you know, this is a show to help you psychologically, from a psychological perspective, to help you have a fearless mindset. It's about building resilience and courage, the foundation. We are not going to learn these things from outside forces. It is all about our mindset. Our mindset is very, 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 it takes over precedence. It's a precedence over everything that we do every day. Our mindset is very powerful. And if we don't really look at our mindset, how we respond to situations, circumstances, we are fearful. We want to fight. The first thing of fear, when you respond to fear, it's about fight. The next thing that you think about the circumstances of our own lives, of the current environment of Uganda. What next happens when we are fearful? We go into flight mode. We pack our bags, go and queue up, and take flights, and we go into different countries, environments. It's about flight. We are fearful. That's why we are coming over to different environments. We are fearful. We pack our bags. We are fearful because we are worried about being poor. We are fearful, worried about the next meal the next day. We are fearful, worried about what will happen to our children, our children's children. We are fearful when we think of, where am I going to get the next meal? How am I going to feed my family? We are fearful. And what happens to our responses in our mind? We go into flight mode. So fear can really paralyze us. It can stop us from making the changes that we want to see in our own lives, in our society. When we go to the third and last F of fear, what happens? So what I'm saying, for how long are we going to run? Excuse me. How long are we going to run? Where are we going to run to? How far can we really run from ourselves, from the environments that have been created, either imagined or unimagined? It might be real or unreal. Can I fight the good fight if I am running away? Are we really able to fight if we are running away? We need to tackle fear head on. That is my take on things. That's my perspective. You might have a different perspective, but what I'm saying is that when we are fearful, we stop acting, we stop having emotional intelligence. We are always emotionally charged. As you can see on social media, every time when people are fearful of maybe what UNN is doing, what do? They personally attack. They go into personal attack. They want to feel, to be like, they freeze from using their brain, emotional intelligence, to be able to act rationally, to bring about the change that we want, the desired change. They want to pass blame on everyone else. They want to character assassinate all the time. They're in flight mode, they're in freeze mode, they're in fight mode. So are you paralyzed by fear? What are you going to do about this fear? Another good quote, someone says, courage, what it takes to stand up and speak. I feel like I'm being courageous because I am here standing up and speaking. It might not necessarily be, you might not think that. We are all here on UNN, all of you who are sharing messages on social media, all of you who are coming out with your videos, seen and unseen, be it if you give your face or not, or show your face or not, it doesn't matter. You are speaking up, and that is courage. So courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. I don't like comparing people, what we're doing and what the others are doing. The end of the day, we're all doing something. But what you're doing, is it causing fear for people to fight against forces which are not supposed to be the threat? Or are you being in flight mode? Or are you frozen? You know, so you can't change what you refuse to confront. We need to take courage in being able to attack fear head on. We need to confront fear, whatever that might be. We need to confront fear. We cannot run away and think that we're going to really effect change, the change that we want, the federal system that we want. We need to brave up, man up. We cannot change what we refuse to confront. We need to confront. So these are some of sort of helpful, quotes. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started in the first place. Why did we start the revolution? Was it based on emotions? Was it based on Bananda Babatia? Was it based on feel good now? Or was it based on real desired change to completely radicalize the way we live as a society? Change leadership, real change of leadership. Was it because you wanted to go in the limelight? When you feel like quitting, and quitting, by the way, does not mean that you stop showing up. You can quit, but be on a different agenda, have a different agenda. For instance, you can quit by not talking about the issues that we're supposed to be talking about, building us as individuals, as society, and completely digress or completely want to bring about propaganda that is not real. So when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Why did we all start the revolution? Why did we all start coming up and saying enough is enough? Enough is enough. So another helpful quote, just to help us to tackle that fear, is about a successful man has the following qualities: a smile that doesn't die, patience. We really need to exercise patience. We cannot haphazardly feel like, all over the place. We're not organized. There's no planning. We just want change. But what foundation are you building the change with or on? So a successful mind or a successful man has the following qualities: a smile that doesn't die, patience, fearless mind, love, self-confidence, love for everybody. So remember, knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. So whatever we learn, we need to put it into action. We need to apply it in our own lives. We need to apply it in our day to day, in the things that we do. We cannot say we know. We have to say we know with action. We know, but how? This is how we know. You need to remember to do your part. Get involved for a revolutionary you. You cannot say you want to change Uganda or the makeup of the current situation in Uganda if you don't change the way you live your life. You cannot live business as usual and think that it is actually going to be a revolutionary change. Revolution is about transformation, it's about reinventing, rebranding ourselves. And that means in our own personal lives. A revolutionary change to our motherland is not going to come by having business as usual. You cannot do the same things. You cannot listening to the same crap that goes on social media. You cannot have the same friends who do not support your revolutionary change. You cannot support the same ideals and ideas if you are to have a revolutionary change. It is a waste of time because we've done this before. We've been there before. We have always said we want change, we want the vote, we want to do this, but we are always doing exactly the same thing and expecting different results. Imagine how mad that is. Madness. Doing the same things, you go to the same workplace, but you want a different salary. You wear the same clothes, but you want to be viewed as someone of substance or different. I am not saying that let's be superficial in how we dress, but you need to be able to present yourself in a way that people take you seriously, know that you're here for change, you mean business. You need to do your part, get involved for a revolutionary a revolutionary change of our motherland. If we are going to change our circumstances, our environment, we need to come up the way we dress from outside, from the inside, from us, from every aspect of our life. We need to show up with the revolutionary mindset, a fearless mindset that builds a resilient and courageous foundation. Also, remember, where we go one, we go all. We cannot do this individually, we have to do it as a collective. We have to do this as a collective. We cannot do it alone. Doing it alone means you're being selfish. Doing it alone means you want self gratification. Doing it alone, you want to prop yourself up, your ego. It needs all of us holding hands, Ubuntu, having the Ubuntu, the collectivism mindset, fearless mindset. And by all means, fear does not mean you are not going to be fearful of what might happen. A fearful mindset, maybe being fearful. You can have fear. Fear is okay. It's natural. It is not unnatural. I have fear. All of us who come out, we have fear of the unknown, but what sets us apart? We are here, we are present, we are resilient, we are persistent, we are consistent, we are courageous, we are building a courageous foundation. And another thing to remember as I conclude the presentation today, as another thing to remember, Nothing for us without us. We are definitely not going to have a revolutionary change, a fearless mindset without being involved. We cannot effect change by being on the sidelines. It is not going to happen. You might disagree with me, and that's okay. All I'm saying, be involved in whichever way you can. You can be emotionally involved, practically involved. Emotionally, when I say emotional, it means give something, emotional support to those that are on the, or, they're showing their faces. Be practical. Are you contributing financially? So nothing for us without us. Remember when it was the norm. As I conclude the first part of our show today, as I conclude, I am simply saying that let's be fearless, have a fearless mindset. We need to build a resilient, courageous foundation. We build our realities from our environments, our upbringing, what we expose to daily. So guard your mind and not put in the fearful mindset. If we all, if we create, for instance, fearful future generations, for instance, be hooked on these programs that do not build us, who will be courageous to stop evil men from molding our world's future generation into slavery? We can be enslaved by the gadgets, by the things that we expose our mind to. Not, these are things from outside. We're not exposing ourselves to meaningful relationships. Remember, we are what we think about most of the time. We build our realities from our environments, our upbringings. Therefore, expose your children, yourself, your friends to things that build a fearless mindset, not fearful. If all we're doing is chasing the paycheck, the next latest car, brand, and neglect our children, who is raising them? What are they teaching them? Are we saying we're leaving them to social media, to TV, to the school? If we don't look after our own, someone or something else will. So I leave this with you this evening. And thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being on UNN TV. Thank you for your contributions. May God bless you. I wish all those who are, you know, experiencing ill health, remember it's all in the mindset. If you think you're ill, if you lament in your illness, if you don't go inside yourself and get that courage to think positively, you are going further into illness. If you are lament that, oh, come and help me, oh, the poor me, you are lamenting and you're going to a fearful mindset. So take charge of your life, because by taking charge of your life, you are impacting on us all. We all need to have a fearless mindset. because a fearful mindset builds a crumbling foundation. So the time is now. And I leave this with you. I hope you enjoy my reflective thoughts. And hello, brothers and sisters. I greet you in the name of the Almighty. Welcome to the Revolutionary S.P.A with Sophia Sebi, the African parent body, justice seeker, friend, daughter, mom of one, but mother to many. I am about all things of our mindset, welfare, and well-being. I am about purposeful action. These are my random reflections about Uganda's revolution, about my perspective of what is going on in Uganda's socio-economic and political environment, and how my fellow Ugandans are responding to the current situation. I am motivated to start these reflections because of my personal and professional values and ethics, in which I carry myself and serve the people that I have come across throughout my life, personal and all professional experiences. I am Ugandan, a believer in the Almighty, a social worker and mother. I find myself amid the Ugandan revolution as Ugandans cry out for the much needed change of governance and leadership. As I live my values, I know it is my calling to serve. Following my qualifying in my current profession, I did not quite understand what this really meant. I have been so unsettled throughout my career, itching for more, bigger and greater things. Now, more than ever, I am confident and sure that God was leading me here to this, my revolution, the people's revolution, the Ugandan revolution, to serve my community and motherland. Therefore, as I reflect on Uganda's situation and how it impacts on my own life and others, I have been compelled as my duty to engage in conversation with like-minded Ugandans and beyond. I hope on a daily basis, so that we can try to make sense of the plight of our motherland. I have wondered on many occasions how we got here as an indigenous people of Uganda, home and away. From the many interactions through formal and informal conversations I have had with family, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances, it would appear that we have been so complacent, at least for the most part, and all we have just not cared enough about the decisions being made on our behalf. We have not called to account those we have chosen to represent our interests, which impact our daily lives, our children and future generation. So, as we have arrived at this time of turmoil, confusion, and desperation, many of us have been left in a place of feeling hopelessness. I have witnessed many Ugandans ask, I quote, "What is next? Or what is plan B? From my observation, for the most part, in my opinion, it has been from Ugandans living in the most oppressed conditions at home or the diaspora. As a Ugandan born living in the diaspora, in a country that values and promotes human rights and dignity, as far as possible at least, I have not felt the same desperation as my counterparts, especially those living in Uganda and the Arab world, who face these injustices daily. Well, this is another conversation for another day altogether. I know, however, like many in the diaspora, mostly within a similar upbringing like mine, growing up in Africa during their early years, attending school there, and then leaving for pastures new as young adults, or at least after coming of age, we find ourselves desperate to return home due to being exhausted of living in what I would call unnatural conditions than that we were accustomed to. We are therefore often left reminiscing the memories of our childhoods. I am not sure whether those in a similar situation will agree with me, but I am sure of my own feelings, wishing to have the opportunity to live back home in my old age on Uganda's soil, the African soil, my motherland. I know that many would say you chose that life. I say to you, don't be quick to judge. What I know for sure is that in life, we all want what's best for our own lives, our children and families. So as our parents set off at least 40 years ago to seek greener pastures as they felt it wise due to the limited opportunities brought about by the environment of post-war Uganda, their children, us I am talking about, also naturally came with them or followed. It is these parents, now grandparents, and their children, now parents themselves, I believe, so desperately want to return home, back to their roots, to grow old and retire, living on their motherland. Have a life-work balance, living their best life in the African sun, the African breeze, and on a regular, fresh African diet. For the above reasons, I do believe that as we get older, we have different priorities. It is no longer about acquiring riches, property, and accumulating material things that often fill our homes collecting dust. It is the simple things that matter to us. Oh, I reminisce about my childhood, remembering my time at boarding school, time playing with my many siblings and cousins, whilst I stayed in the village with my grandmother, may her soul rest in peace. I remember the laughter, fighting over who gets which part of the rice, bread, or posho crust. I reminisce playing in the bushes and fruit picking, swimming in the rivers, fetching firewood, competing with my siblings on who was the fastest to impress Jaja, grandmother, I mean, in collecting firewood or removing the weed from the banana plantation, who was fastest. The beauty in this was not the hardship in the chores. It was the learning of lifelong skills, of resilience, sharing, living selflessly. This was about collectivism, family. Oh, my heart breaks for our children, especially in the diaspora. It is for this reason that I am dedicated and coming forward to speak out and speak up. I am choosing to be intentional, purposeful, and persistent, to be as loud as I possibly can to play my part in bringing about a revolutionary change in Uganda. As we realize that not all that glittered was gold, my fellow brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and perhaps back on home soil, let us encourage each other by working collectively in our mission with purpose. I, S.P.A, intend to play my part by having these regular reflections or forums in however form. I am hoping that somehow my words could be of encouragement to you as I speak from personal experiences. I say that I too can relate and empathize with your plight. I understand what living in the diaspora means, desperately wanting to return home and on the motherland, but yet the conditions are not conducive to live a truly fulfilling life. To the Ugandan living at home, I am trying to encourage or engage with you so that we can collectively pool resources through sharing ideas and knowledge in our attempts to bring about the desired change we need for our country. My coming out to speak out is not by any means because I am living a bad life. It is because I feel it is my duty to make a positive contribution and value my culture. My early childhood experiences as a Ugandan born. I know it is my purpose to serve others, and I am doing what I know best. To encourage, to empower, and to motivate others. It is my hope that by listening to me, home and or away, you will somehow find something that you can take away to apply to your own lives, your own families and communities, to be encouraged to take action in bringing about the change we so desire. In fact, my hope is that you see this desire for change as your life's purpose or mission. You know what they say, I quote, words without action are meaningless. And Actions without words can be confusing. Therefore, as we continue to demand for change and accountability, let us also be the change that we desire. Let us put our words into action. Let us hold hands to do our bit in contributing to the larger picture for a greater Uganda. Let us leave our comfort zones and learn to be uncomfortable. Be fearless. I have had to learn from others that what makes you feel comfortable is not always what is good for you. I also have come to learn that experiencing fear can mean carrying on anyway. I never thought that I would be speaking publicly due to my fear of public speaking and what others may say. However, I have had to overcome my fears, the limiting beliefs and the imposter syndrome for the sake of my motherland, for the sake of humanity. So as you will get to see me, listen to me, read something I have written more frequently, you may notice a few errors here and there. But I am not concerned with that. I am not concerned for perfection or being well refined. My concern is for the sake of humanity and remaining authentic. My concern is that at least I am showing up and doing something to influence change, mostly for those who cannot stand up for themselves, the voiceless, the marginalized, and those who continue to live in the poorest of conditions, who go without the basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, or basic education. It's indeed unimaginable, shocking in fact, that in the 21st century, despite all Uganda's natural riches that our motherland has to offer, people still go without. I am very concerned about the continued injustices of the rotten and corrupt government in Uganda today. As I conclude, I call upon every concerned citizen of Uganda, my brother and sister, home or away, lament no more. Rise up and stand firm for what is right. Your freedom, our children's freedom, our nation's freedom, for your human right to live a life free from abuse, torture, deprivation, and enslavement. This revolution, Uganda's revolution, is bigger than casting your vote. It takes a collective of a family, a community, a nation, a people who are resolved, consistent, and persistent to bring about the desired change. So, now you know what my reasons for wanting change are as a Ugandan born living in the diaspora. Giving up is not an option. What are your reasons for change? I pray to the Almighty that you dig deeper in your soul and find your reasons, and very soon change for Uganda must come. I believe that this can be achieved through the people re-energizing and finding the inner person. Our mindset has to change, radical change of our mindset. I believe in letting go of a fearful mindset and walking into a fearless mindset. God bless you. God bless our motherland, Uganda. I remain yours, Sophia Sebi, the African parent body on the revolutionary S.P.A. about self-purposeful action at UNN, TV, radio, and online. Hello, brothers and sisters. I greet you in the name of the Almighty.